NFL forever. You'll find more of these stories at srnews.com.
The following program is sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Get ready with your legal questions and call Patrick now. 877-943-9673. Again, that's 877-943-9673. The law office is open. And now your host, Patrick Smith.
Oh, hi there. Hey, disregard that phone number. I don't know. You guys knew the number was different, Yumiko.
Okay,
Okay. All right. No, don't scrap the number. So the phone lines apparently are down. I learned this about 30 minutes ago. So we have an alternate number, 877-969-8600. We need an alternate opening if we're going to do that. I don't want to give out the wrong number to people. Now people could call that number and they don't get us. So 877-969-8600 is your new number to call in this week. And that is toll free, just like the old number. Open studio lines. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Today is May 20th, and the whole gang here together. We have Yumiko, the producer, Brian, the call screener, and a bevy of interns with us as well. We have Peter, the intern, Max, the intern, and Lexi, the intern as well. Again, we are here to answer your legal questions. So legal questions that have come up throughout your week. This is your one-stop shop to call in and get all the legal assistance you can free of charge live over the air. Again, that toll-free number, 877-969-8600. 877-969-8600. So that's your toll-free line. You can also email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. So again, the email address, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. If you want to email a question during the show, if you email us, make sure to tell me whether or not it's okay to use your name or if you want to stay anonymous, and we'll just mention sort of the facts of the email. But again, we love to hear from you. So open studio lines, 877-969-8600. Yumiko, we tested these lines. They work?
yes.
All right, let's find out. 877-969-8600, toll-free number. Give us a call now. We'll be happy to help any way that we can. Again, open studio lines. Call in with your legal questions. 877-969-8600. So this topic for our monologue today will surround the controversy known as TikTok. So this past week on May 17th, Montana became the first U.S. state to ban TikTok despite objections made by the ACLU. Now, the ban's actually not in effect. They passed the legislation to ban TikTok, and that effect will be going into effect January 1st, 2024. And essentially, the effect of the ban will be to penalize companies that do not comply with the law to be fined $10,000 for every day the app remains available. So the legal question we pose today, and we'll go into some of the background here in a moment, is should there be a law banning TikTok? What are your thoughts out there? So if you have a particular thought, 877-969-8600. Again, new number. So if you're calling the old number, not going to work. Give us a call on this new number, 877-969-8600. So give us a call now. We're live and local, happy to help any way we can. 877-969-8600. Peter, the intern, do you have a TikTok account?
I do.
All right. Tell the listeners what TikTok is, essentially.
So TikTok is a social media app where you can post videos ranging from 10 seconds up to 5 minutes. A lot of people use it just for like entertainment, following their favorite content creators, sports teams, but a lot of small businesses also use it as a form of marketing.
And I noticed also, because I have a TikTok account, just sort of in show prep mode, different concepts and ideas come from that. But I noticed a lot of religious organizations use it as well. You see a lot of pastors out there who use TikTok to sort of spread their message. So there's a wide variety of TikTok. And the history of TikTok, just so you know a little bit about it, it was actually born from a Chinese company called ByteDance. And that was an app that was released separately in China. and it was a video sharing social network app, and it was actually under something called, I think I'm pronouncing this correctly. If you speak Chinese, please call in and correct me. It's Douyin, Douyin, in 2016. And this is the sort of the origin story of what we know now as TikTok, when several apps merged. And then in 2018, we get TikTok as we know it today. The controversy surrounding it is really when President Trump, back in 2020, was calling for a ban because of the country's supposed ties to the Chinese government. And that's sort of where we are today, with various governmental entities being concerned about whether or not TikTok is giving access to the Chinese government to sensitive information here in the United States. So if you have an opinion on that and on whether or not there should be a law banning TikTok here in the United States, did Montana get it right? Did Montana get it wrong? Do you have some other thoughts? 877-969-8600. 877-969-8600. Live and local, open studio lines. Give us a call now. We'll be happy to help any way we can. 877-969-8600, or you can email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. So, Peter the intern, what do you think?
I don't think that it should be banned. It's just another social media company. There's no proof that it has any ties to the CCP. So,
yeah, I'm not convinced it should be banned either. And I think that when you see the lawsuit that was filed by the ACLU against the state of Montana, you notice the crux of the lawsuit is really regarding free speech, which if you look at the Constitution, free speech is, of course, the highest form of protected speech. And under that analysis, from a constitutional law perspective, that means any law drafted that affects a constitutional right has to meet what we call strict scrutiny standards. And it has to be narrowly tailored to address a compelling governmental interest. So the question becomes, is the banning of TikTok such a law? And I don't know, but in law school, when you're studying constitutional law and strict scrutiny, it comes down to really the battle is over whether or not you get a strict scrutiny analysis, because there's two other tests, rational basis, and there's this intermediate scrutiny. And like we were talking with Max, the intern, before the show, there's even this weird nether region called rational basis with teeth. So, Max, do you have any thoughts on what application under the constitutional law, what should we be applying as far as the standard? What do you think? Do you think it is protected political speech, TikTok, and therefore should be strict scrutiny, or is it more of a rational basis, or where on the spectrum in your mind does it fall?
I think that it's either going to come down to strict scrutiny because the First Amendment violation, or the alleged First Amendment violation, and if it's not strict scrutiny, I think at minimum, you're still going to have intermediate scrutiny. And for intermediate scrutiny, basically the law has to further an important government interest, and they must do so by means that are substantially related to the interest. So I think it's really going to come down to either strict scrutiny or intermediate scrutiny. I don't see it going down to rational basis because the importance of the First Amendment and the right to free speech.
Yeah, so the initial concern I have too, let's say it is strict scrutiny and the law is struck down, that's probably the right answer, because even if it were somehow, you got a rational basis analysis, which is basically a rubber stamp for a green light to approve a law. And the question then becomes, how do you enforce it? Now, you notice the way they intend to enforce it is not by fining individual users, which would probably be nearly impossible. They're going to fine the providers that allow the app to stay on their platform. But there's probably tons of workarounds for that. You can get it from a different state or something of that nature. I mean, it's going to be extremely difficult to police sort of that activity and to work around that ban of that particular state. So I guess if you had a nationwide ban, maybe that could work. But at the end of the day, in all of our, because you were all researching this week, Lexi, Max, Peter, and in all of your research, one of the things you hear in the controversy that was started with, back in 2020, TikTok is a Chinese spy operation, was what you hear propagated out there. Did you, in any of you, in your research, did you find any evidence directly tying TikTok to any spy operation to the Chinese government?
None.
Max?
No, I think from the research that I did, there's none that directly tie it. The issue is basically just that the laws in China would potentially allow the Chinese government to have access, but that hasn't been proven to actually have occurred yet.
Lexi, did you find anything to that effect?
No, same exact as both of them found. There's really not a lot of information out there about it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing was because one of you sent me research that basically said they're actually incorporated in the Cayman Islands. Who was that? Who found that? Because that was Lexi. Yeah, so it was interesting because it's actually, I mean, primarily Chinese owned, of course, but they're actually incorporated, apparently, according to Lexi's research, is through the Cayman Islands. So, I mean, that's kind of an interesting spin. Peter, you have something?
Yeah, they're incorporated in the Cayman Islands. They're headquartered out of LA and Singapore, and the majority of the data for all users, not just US users, is kept in Virginia and Oregon.
Okay. 877-969-8600 if you'd like to chime in with any legal question at all, or you'd like to comment on our discussion of whether or not there should be a law banning TikTok here in the United States or in the great state of Florida. 877-969-8600. 877-969-8600. You can give us a call now. We'll be happy to assist you as best we can with any of your legal needs. Additionally, we would love to hear from you with your thoughts on TikTok. 877-969-8600. And in the research this week, apparently it came up that the governor here, Governor Ron DeSantis, has also addressed it with some legislation regarding, and I'm guessing, Lexi, the way you're nodding your head, this was your research again. Maybe you want to speak to it, Lexi. So tell us what you found when you were researching this. So you saw Montana's response where they said, we're just going to ban it. How did Governor DeSantis choose to handle it?
So with Ron DeSantis being the governor in Florida, me being an undergraduate right now, I attend Stetson University, which is a private institution. However, I have a lot of friends that go to public universities, and TikTok is now banned across their campuses. They are not able to access TikTok via Wi-Fi. However, there's still a lot of loopholes through this. If they just turn off their Wi-Fi, they can still access it. If they use a VPN, they can still access it. But overall, it wasn't received very well from my age population. I'm sure some older generations may agree with it. However, I know from my personal age grouping, a lot of people were not too happy.
So, yeah, and you mentioned the workarounds, and I think that's really the goal there is like, I mean, if you ban it, how can you really ban it if there's so many easy workarounds there? But, the governor's position, according to the legislation, was basically making the argument that if we give them access to our school computers through the application, then they could potentially gain access to sensitive educational information. So that would be our concern. If you have a thought, 877-969-8600. Again, a new number, by the way. So those of you calling the old number, it's not working today. 877-969-8600. Our apologies for that. 877-969-8600. But what is working, good as usual, is my email address. So if you want to email me your question, and lots of you do, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. So yeah, when we talk about free speech, I mean, that is the highest and most protected form of speech. When I was doing my research on the topic this week, I had you guys really focus in on TikTok and sort of the origins, the background, the controversy. But there's another side of the equation here. TikTok has a major opponent besides the U.S. government in this potential battle, and it's an organization called Meta. And Meta is a big group that's owned by Facebook, which also owns WhatsApp. And basically in that sort of research, the conclusion that I drew was Meta is basically this top-down approach, where in their sources and in their output, they kind of control what you're going to see. And whereas TikTok's a little different, it's more democratic, if you will. It's sort of driven by usage, and it's sort of the popularity of the content that drives what you're going to see versus what's promoted or what's ad-based. And I think that was the initial threat there, was Meta was made potentially nervous by a TikTok overtaking them, which clearly the data says that TikTok is becoming more and more popular. And slowly, you're nodding your head, Max. You have a thought on that?
No, I just know that it's I believe it's the fastest growing social media app right now in the United States. And there's somewhere about 150 million users users.
All right. So look, if you're out there and you use TikTok or you use Facebook, call in. We'd love to know which one you use more. 877-969-8600, 877-969-8600. Give us a call now and we will be happy to help you as best we can. So 877-969-8600. Let's go around the room. Peter, do you use TikTok or Facebook or both?
I use them both, but I use TikTok way more.
What's way more? Like 10 times as much, 5 times as much?
Probably 10 times as much.
10 times as much, max.
I had TikTok, but I deleted it just because I was busy in school. And then same with Facebook, but I re-downloaded it. I didn't
Hold on.
actually delete the account.
Time out. You deleted it because you were busy in school.
Yeah, I deleted all my social media while I was in school.
Why didn't you just not use it?
I don't know.
All right, good answer. So Lexi,
I am on both platforms, but I definitely use TikTok way more.
and that's what the numbers show, especially your generation. It's a matter of, and it is a rabbit hole. Like you can really fall down a rabbit hole from everything from, let's see, in doing show prep, there's evidence of mermaids existing that came up, and the controversy, ghost, a lot of paranormal activity on TikTok as well, and tons of political items, music artists, actual, like, painting artists, and things of that nature. So yeah, so if you have a thought on that, 877-969-860. Again, our new number. So if you're calling the old number, stop. You're not going to get us. 877-969-8600, 877-969-8600. Sorry to be obnoxious about giving out the number so often, but with a new number, I just have to make sure you guys get that it's not going to be that old number you've been used to for, I don't know, close to 2 years now. So 877-969-8600, or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go to Sun City Center. Let's talk to Patty. Patty, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know I was going to be live, but that's okay.
All right.
All I wanted to do is comment on the TikTok, even though we didn't even know it was TikTok. My nail technician told me that it was TikTok. It never said it was TikTok. So my husband scrolls through hours watching, laughing. I scroll through. Mine is off of Facebook, and it's different, just different categories, whatever. If I'm interested in it, then I just, all those keep coming up. But I guess it's TikTok. What else would it be?
So, Patty, if you don't mind my asking, what's your age?
65.
So 65. So it's interesting. People, and you're right on the cusp, because it's 65 and up, according to the data we found, was basically just saying that age group, 65 and up, 71% of them believe that TikTok should be banned. But I get a sense you don't feel that way.
Well, I mean, my husband's 75, and it's funny information. It's, I watch the sport things on there, and I mean, I don't find it offensive at all. I don't look at, a lot of sexual immoral things, or if I don't like it, I just don't look at it. I just keep going, but that stuff doesn't pop up on my feed.
Well, that's good. I mean, so the Pew Research Center poll, actually, I'm looking at it now, 65 plus, 71% support a ban. Patty, you're in a rare group, so congratulations. Only 4% of people in your age group oppose a ban. 24% of your peers are not sure about that. So, well, they say the algorithm's learning you, Patty. I mean, I'll tell you right now,
Okay,
if you pull up my TikTok, you are going to see a bevy of double plays in baseball, and you're going to see a lot of soldiers coming home videos and law enforcement. That, for whatever reason, TikTok thinks that's what I like, and they're right. I do enjoy those sorts of things. So the algorithm's learning you. So you said, what sorts of things pop up in yours, and what sorts of items pop up in your husband's feed?
Well, I don't really know what he watches, but I like things that are funny, things that are like, they're just comical. And now, but what I think it's very deceptive, because I didn't know it was TikTok.
What did you think it was?
I didn't know. I just thought it was the funniest home videos type thing that was mimicking. Now, I think that my generation may not like it because you're glued to your phone. And, we don't like that. We don't like the way kids are glued to their phone.
Yeah, but I
And
think your
so-
generation's shifting there, to be honest with you, Patty. I've noticed more and more senior citizens are getting glued to their phones, and not just phones, but technology in general. And I think
Right.
that's a sign of the times. I mean, you're seeing more and more elderly embrace technology because they see the convenience of technology. And I think that's a great point. Now, I'll tell you right now, TikTok really is what you want it to be. And my wife likes to start my day with a smile. So she will, as you described, try to send me funny or heartwarming videos, like a cute golden retriever video, because we have 2 golden retrievers. So she'll send me a cute golden retriever video or something that she's thinks gonna make me smile at the start of my day. So I get those in the morning when I wake up. I send TikToks. I send TikToks to my dad because apparently there's a treasure trove of Andy Griffith TikToks. And if there's one thing my father loves, besides his wife, my mother, and me, it's Andy Griffith. And, my dad and I have a running joke. Anytime an episode of Andy Griffith came on, we would say, oh, it's a new one we haven't seen. It, hasn't been on the air in 60 years. But you can really make TikTok what you want it to be. So you don't think it's a Chinese spy operation, I'm guessing.
No, I don't. I mean, when Dirty Jobs Mike said, he took it, he was going to the bathroom and he, 20 minutes later, he was still looking at his phone, TikTok. He said, this is ridiculous. I have to remove this. I can't get anything done today if I do this all day. But I don't think it's bad. But what do I know?
Well, he could do
My
like
life is
Max
that
and just
exciting.
delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my life isn't that exciting that there's anything that, they could use against me. I don't think so.
All right.
I'm not too worried about it.
Well, Patty, what station are you listening on down in Sun City?
I don't know.
All right. I love the honesty.
AM something.
All right. AM something. Thank you to all the AM
Yeah.
something listeners out there. Patty,
I just stroll.
what's that, Patty?
I just stroll in my car.
Okay. Well, Patty, we appreciate you listening to the show and thanks for calling in. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a great Saturday. All righty. 877-969-8600. Again, not our usual number. A new number to call in. 877-969-8600. So there was an interesting conversation that happened. I think it was on Capitol Hill, where one of the congressmen or senators asked, why do all of these types of video? So you know what I'm talking about, Peter.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, so after TikTok took off, Facebook and Instagram kind of added their own version of TikTok within their apps.
Like a reel, but
Yeah,
not.
but
So-
their algorithms work different than TikTok. So Facebook and Instagram typically shows you the same type of video of a page you're following if you keep on scrolling to their reels or the people that you follow, while TikTok tracks your usage through all your apps. And that's why you get baseball stuff. That's why I get like politics stuff and Cowboys football stuff. And so on that oversight board hearing, when they were like, I just keep on seeing a bunch of underage girls dancing. Well, that's what you're looking at across all apps. So you just told on yourself. So it's TikTok shows you what you look up through all of your apps, because when you download it, it asks you if you want to allow it to track across all your apps. All these apps do it now. You can either say yes or no, but TikTok really utilizes that to show you a perfect feed of whatever you like.
Max the intern. When you had TikTok and you would log on in the morning, what was the first item to pop up in your feed?
Pretty much all just random comedy type short clips.
Comedy type.
Yeah, like no theme, just funny everything.
So you're a funny guy, is what I hear you saying.
Or I like the funny content. I don't know if I'm a funny guy. I
All
like
right.
to think I am, but
All right. So, all right, Max, you can relax. Lexi, I kind of have an idea, but I just want to, I want to ask you. So when you log into your TikTok, first 3 videos are going to be related to what?
Ooh, so it's a mix. So the top one is definitely going to be activities for 2-year-olds. I have a 2-year-old niece.
Yes, she does. She's
And-
very proud of her 2-year. You want to say hi?
Hi, Tatum.
There you go. So she got to say hi. Now you have another one now too, right?
I do. I have a 4-month-old niece named Blake.
Blake, 4 months old. Congratulations on Blake. So, all right. So something related to 2-year-old nieces. Yes. And next?
Yep. And then it's called Water Talk. It is people who, you go to Starbucks and you get all your fancy drinks. They put all the syrups in. They're doing that, but they're doing it with water. And they have these super thick Southern accents. And it's the best. And I love it. And I mesmerized.
Hold on. I heard thick Southern accents.
Yes.
And what about water?
So they have water. They have 40 liters of water, and they make all of these like really fancy drinks. They do syrups. My favorite is called mermaid syrup. I don't know what's in it. It's bright blue. It's great. And they add like these little flavor packets in it, and they mix it up, and they have really thick Southern accents. And they always tell me to have a good day at the end. And I feel like I do have a good day after watching it.
Lexi the intern, there you go, folks, and the benefits of TikTok. So 877-969-8600, our new number. The other one that pops up for me all the time, Rocky clips. And I mean, it read me like a book. I love Rocky, but I've never had a Rudy clip pop up. I also love Rudy. I love Field of Dreams. Now watch, they're listening probably right now because the phone's right here. So they probably will watch. Next when I log in, it's going to be Rudy and Field of Dreams. And yeah, I can watch Field of Dreams up to like the last 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, if you don't cry at the last 10 minutes of Field of Dreams, I don't think you have a soul. Like, it's just, you know, it's just one of those, you know, my allergies are acting up again. So 877-969-8600, that's your toll-free number. You can call in with any legal question at all, or you can call in with your thoughts on our discussion of a ban on TikTok. Should there be a law here in the state of Florida banning TikTok, or a federal ban on TikTok? Give us a call now. New number. So again, scrap that old number for this week, 877-969-8600, or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. We're going to go to St. Pete next, and we're going to talk to Jim. Jim, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, I not completely positive, except for that I know that TikTok is very involved with communism, you know, with China.
You
don't particularly care for it, so I don't use TikTok. When I see it comes up, because it constantly pops up to use it on my phone, but I just don't, because of I don't like to do business with China.
Do you do business with Disney?
No.
That's consistent. That tracks. So, all right. Now you said you know that they've got a tie to communism. So you want to unpack that? What's your evidence? What sources are you citing that says, other than the fact that it's owned by majority Chinese interest, but you say the communist side of it, how so?
Well, I completely just despise communism. I think it's a horrible thing. I think, you know, I'm a devout Catholic, so I certainly, you know the persecution that they pull on Christians. So that's why I don't like communism. That would be the reason. And if they're involved with it, and China is allowing them, they're controlling it for sure. They control it. If you hang out with them, eventually they'll cut you in half. Because if they're not controlling you, they don't want anything to do with you. So what'll happen is eventually they'll tell you what you can put on there if you continue to allow communism to come into our country.
Well, I mean, I've got news for you. I think there's communism already here. I mean, there are people who actively believe in communism. I'm not one of them, but at the end of the day, those people are here. And Jim, they have a right to express their opinion. I mean, that's why free speech is the highest protected form of speech, because, you know, even the bad ideas need room to breathe in our democracy and constitutional republic. But it's a far cry from me. You know, you got Lexi's water videos where she's got Southern accents that make her smile in the morning, and you're telling me this is all part of some master scheme from communists, and I'm just having trouble.
No, I didn't tell you that.
Okay, all right.
I didn't tell you that.
So,
no, I didn't. I didn't say that I thought it was some master scheme. I just said that I would stay away from it because of that. I don't trust communism, and I have every reason, because just look at history. You know, I do believe in history. I do pay attention to it, and I see what happened throughout the world. I mean, look what's going on with Russia, and China's doing the same thing. They want to take over the world. That's what they want. That's what's in their mind. You know, they don't allow you to worship God in those places. They don't allow it.
Okay, you lost me a little bit there, but I do know the nation of India also banned TikTok in 2021. And you're saying the U.S. should align more with India in that and have a ban nationwide?
Well, I somewhat am ignorant about how TikTok is ran where it comes to freedom. But if it's ran by communists, eventually it'll come back and bite you.
Well, can we agree that before we pass judgment on TikTok, it might be a good idea to do a little more research into what it is, how it works, and things like that?
Yeah, it could be. And when I called in, I mentioned that I didn't know that much about it, and I don't.
Well, and I
just see
applaud
it
that.
popped up
I'm not,
on-
yeah, Jim, I'm not criticizing you. I applaud you for calling in. Clearly, you're listening to the show. You're clearly out for edification on the topic. So I applaud that. And I'm encouraging that. I think that too many people are quick to proclaim a 20-second soundbite that they heard from someone else because that gives them a sense of, oh, I'm right. This is my thought and I'm good because they told me in 20 seconds or less on CNN or Fox News, and it makes sense. I think the rarest commodity in this nation is original thought. People sitting down and looking at the facts and researching and deciding for themselves what they believe. So, Jim, you're doing that, and I applaud it.
Well, thank you.
All right, Jim, we
And
appreciate.
I do listen to your show pretty much every Saturday.
Well,
I do.
Jim, we appreciate your faithful listenership. What station are you listening on?
860.
860 The Answer. All right, we appreciate you listening,
There you
Jim.
go.
Have a great
All right,
Saturday.
God
Okay?
bless.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep, God
you.
bless everyone.
God bless you. All righty, 877-969-8600. New phone number again. Scrap the old one for this week. Yumiko, this is temporary, right?
Yes.
Okay, hallelujah. 877-969-8600. 877-969-8600 or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. Before we go to our next caller, I do want to give out the office line. So if you want to schedule an appointment, complimentary consultation regarding your estate planning with yours truly, or book us for a seminar, a public speaking engagement, that number at the office, 877-754-6764. That's the same number. That's the same office line. Nothing changed there. 877-754-6764. Again, the toll-free office line reaches Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Any member of the staff will be happy to get you on my calendar for the Sarasota, Sun City Center, Clearwater, any of our office locations, 877-754-6764. All right, next we are going to go to Port Charlotte and talk to Henry. Henry, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
I'm great, Henry. What station are you listening on down in Port Charlotte?
Well, actually, I live in Port Charlotte, but right now I'm in Pennsylvania and I'm listening to you online.
Which online application?
1025 The Bone.
All right. Well, we appreciate you and all our other Bone listeners out there. Definitely one of our more popular stations. So how can we help you today, Henry?
Well, I just wanted to chime in on the TikTok just for to let everybody know I don't use the app. I've just recently become a Twitter user since it gained new ownership. So
I tried Twitter. I couldn't do it. It just, I don't know. For some reason, it just felt like a lot. Peter, you're a Twitter guy.
Yeah, I love Twitter because I like to watch people argue on it. I think it's really funny. Some like congressman will post some 2-line thing on policy, and then it's like 5,000 comments of people arguing.
And see, that's so when my wife sends me TikTok, sometimes she'll send them to me and say, read the comments. And I, don't normally ever read the comments unless told to read the comments. So that explains probably why I don't do Twitter. I see enough conflict daily. I don't need to go looking for it on social media. But anyway, Henry, you use Twitter more than you use TikTok is what I hear you said.
Yeah, I basically it's a news aggregation service for me, and I'm like you. I don't read the comments unless something really entices me.
Do you mind sharing with the audience what your age is?
Yeah, I'm 64.
Okay, so at 64, do you support a ban on TikTok?
No, I was just that I was wanted to ask you all a question, and we have all the legal minds there, and apparently you did a lot of research. Had anybody gone back and reviewed the terms of use for TikTok and see what they are legally allowed to do with user data?
No, but you just gave the intern a follow-up assignment for next week. I'll tell you that. So you guys heard it from Jim. No, that's a great point, Jim. Go back and read those terms of use and see exactly how much of the farm you've given away. I love that idea. That's a great follow-up piece. So no, Henry.
I mean, that's what. Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to dictate what they can do with whatever whatever they're going to take from you, and then wherever they're going to be allowed to share it to.
And as a matter of fact, I think I recently saw that pop up, and it was something as broad as, do you accept the U.S. terms of use? And you click yes or no. There was no option for like read more. I don't think where you could, maybe there was, maybe I just overlooked it, but there you go, guys. Let's look into those terms of use and find out some of the points. And then Henry, tune in next week. We'll do a follow-up piece on that. Okay.
I will be there, Patrick.
All righty, Henry. We appreciate you listening and thanks for your faithful listenership. Okay. And have a great Saturday.
Thanks, you too.
All righty. 877-969-8600. That is your new number for this week. 877-969-8600. All right. Next, we're going to go to Tampa. We're going to talk to Lynn. Lynn, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hi. So I'm in my 40s and I don't really have an opinion on whether it should be banned or not because I don't have enough information. And before I listened to your show this morning, I was actually so for it, but you provided some evidence to the contrary. So I'll remain, the jury's out on that. But from a parent's perspective, several years ago, my daughter, she still listens, she still is on TikTok all the time, but she gave me a lot of disinformation based on TikToks that were being posted. They were political. The information was incorrect. She was heavily influenced one way, not the other. And I asked her many times to cite her sources, and she couldn't, but it was on TikTok. So TikTok's obviously right. And that's my biggest concern for that generation is they're getting this information and they refuse to go back and actually, review the sources. And it's just, it's correct because it's on TikTok. And that's where my concern lies.
Well, that's a general internet problem. If it's on the internet, it's true. But Lynn, to go back to the start of your call, you said you were kind of more pro TikTok. And then after listening to our discussion, that kind of shifted you back to maybe more of a neutral position. Is that right?
No, I was anti-TikTok.
Oh, so you're anti-TikTok and we kind of shifted you more in the neutral direction from being anti-TikTok.
Yeah. So initially I was like, I'm all for the ban. I don't want anything to do with TikTok. But then because I believe that, the Chinese had heavily involvement and maybe they do, and it could be traced, further back and, and there's could be some sort of algorithm embedded in another algorithm because they're really good at hacking, supposedly, based on media reports, which again, it's like believing everything on TikTok, right? It's like believing everything on the media. If you don't have the actual true source, it's kind of hard to differentiate. But with what you said and the comments about where they're incorporated and really the fact that they've got these layers in here, it was a US based business, then it's hard to believe that they're 100% controlled by the Chinese Communist government.
Well,
so I actually did appreciate you providing that information because then it gave me a different perspective.
Well, Lynn, we appreciate your kind words, and that's exactly what we do here. We try to educate people so that they can make their own decisions and not just buy into what tantamounts to propaganda. So, here's my concern. I hear the mantra over and over. It's a Chinese spy operation. It's a Chinese spy operation. I haven't seen the evidence that it's a Chinese spy operation. Like, I appreciate that people believe that. And I believe these are good-hearted people who are genuinely concerned about our national security, but you've got to give us some kind of evidence. We just got an email question that came in that said, if we allow a ban on TikTok, then should we also be banning every other Chinese-based application? What are your thoughts, Lynn?
And that's a good question because, and I work for a defense contractor and they actually, there is a clause within government regulations that very clearly states that you cannot work with certain Chinese companies because they have ties to the Chinese government, like Huawei. And a lot of people used to have Huawei devices. A lot of these companies would work with Huawei, and now they're like, you can't work with Huawei if you want to, one of our contracts.
Well, not only that, but a lot of times you guys can't even have social media, period, if you're in that camp.
Yeah, and it depends on what part of the government you're in. When I worked as a contractor for one of the three letters, they were highly encouraged you not to be on social media. And I actually deleted my Facebook because I didn't like it to begin with. And I haven't gone back on Facebook. The only social media I particularly use right now is YouTube. And unfortunately, I get stuck in the shorts like the TikTok feeds. I waste time on that. And then I have Instagram. And I did that because one of my apartment complexes had Instagram.
Lynn, what station in Tampa are you listening on, by the way?
860.
860 the answer. All right. Well, we appreciate that. And you mentioned, I love the fact that you mentioned one of the 3 letters for those of you not familiar. She means something like the CIA, the FBI, ATF, NSA, one of those organizations that involve men in black suits or women in black suits, keeping us all safe, clandestine measures. So, Lynn, we appreciate your service as a defense contractor. So thank you for everything and all you do to keep this nation safe. Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Alrighty, 877, new phone number 969-8600, 877-969-8600, or email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. Like I said, we just had that email question come in about whether or not you should be banning, if you're going to ban TikTok, it's the classic slippery slope argument. I figured someone would make it, and someone did. So should we be banning and then for that purpose, should it then be all foreign applications? Because anyone could spy on us. They don't necessarily have to be Chinese spies. I'm sure other nations have motivation to spy on the single strongest and greatest nation in the world superpower. So, Peter, your face looks pregnant with thought. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that like slippery slope down. I mean, and Florida's already trying to pass a law, or maybe Ron already did sign it, to where foreign nationals cannot buy pieces of land within 10 miles of military bases, and it's just a real slippery slope of
you know how I know you're hanging around me too much. You just called the governor Ron. All right, 877-969-8600, 877-969-8600, your number to be part of the show. Call in with your legal opinion on whether or not there should be a law banning TikTok or any other legal question. We'll be happy to help you any way we can. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith, and this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. All right, next we are going to go to Bradenton and talk to Christine. Christine, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Christine. What station are you on down there in Bradenton?
7. Well, I'm actually driving home from work. I work night shift as a nurse in Lakeland.
Well, thank you for your service as a nurse. Are you at Lakeland Regional?
Yes, I am.
That's where I was born.
Oh, wow.
That's
great.
That's where the story began, Christine. So we appreciate you listening. How can we help you today?
Okay, well, I too, like the guy who is Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I'm a Christian, and our battle is not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers and rulers of darkness. I think that TikTok is not necessarily a weapon of China, but we have a very real and formidable enemy that wants to destroy the fabric of society. That's not necessarily an entity, right? So you have to look at it from, okay, do you have the ability to discern what truth is? And I actually don't think we should ban TikTok, because I believe that it's okay and good to be able to hear, because of free speech, your dissenting voice, so that you can, if something is true, you can poke it and it stands. If something is false, when you shake it, it falls down. So if you have something that's a lie that's being repeated, even if it's on a lot of the TikTok videos, teaching children or what have you, something that's not true, it will fall apart. But the truth will, you can test the truth and you can prove that it is true.
Christine, do you study Thomas Jefferson a lot?
I actually took a lot of electives that I didn't need to in college.
You met me in college?
No, I went to college in the University of Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee, and I took a lot of philosophy classes and political science and stuff like that.
Okay, so the idea that you're espousing here is basically one that Thomas Jefferson said. Now, granted, his idea was that to try key principles, we should do it through bloody revolution every 20-ish years or so. And I think, praise God, we don't do that. We have a more civilized ways of doing it, like this forum here. And I think, to your point, the good ideas will survive. The bad ones will fall by the wayside. And I think that's the point. We have to have these discussions. And if we start banning things ab initio without that discussion, what kind of democracy do we live in?
At the same time, I do have a 10-year-old. And my 10-year-old is not allowed on TikTok or Facebook Reels or any of the platforms that just give you garbage. 10-second blurts of supposed facts that have no proof, right? Like the woman that said, where's your source? Who said that? You know, and they can't come up with it because sometimes there's not any. And I don't think my 10-year-old has the ability to poke it.
But you're a perfect example, Christine, of the solution there is good parenting, not good government. The government's job is not to decide what a child should hear. That's a parent's job. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I believe that. And
Okay.
I don't believe that the government can be a better parent than me.
Amen. Amen, Christine. We agree on that. Well, we appreciate your service as a nurse there in Polk County. And Christine, you do your best to enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay?
All right, you too.
Thanks for listening. Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye. All right, this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-969-8600. New number. Call us now, live and local. Keep trying back. I see the phone lines are jammed. If someone hangs up, just try again right away, and we'll try our best to get you right on the air before the wrap-up of the show. Is this Joanne in Sarasota? Is this our usual Joanne in Sarasota?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, I have a nickname for you, Joanne.
What's that?
Well, because the last couple calls, when I followed up with questions, you didn't want to answer. So I thought about just calling you No Answer Joanne.
Oh, dear.
I'm just kidding, Joanne. How can we help you today?
My son was born in Lakeland Regional.
Oh, yeah. What year?
79.
Not far off. I was born there in 81. So
yeah,
near
exactly.
Contemporaries. So wonderful. Well, Joanne, how can we help you today?
I did have a legal question, but I see you're running short. But I also have a comment on TikTok. There is absolutely no reason it's not coming out of a good country who has good intentions toward anyone. They're getting ready to invade Taiwan, and they're just not a positive. And I will say that I was active on Facebook because it was kind of entertaining. And I'm a very senior citizen with a lot of computers here that are mine because I do business. Long story short, the kids do it. They go back on for adulation, affirmation.
Attention.
Yes. And they also TikTok and in congressional hearings, they're profiling these kids. They're making, they have information. They're starting at a very young age.
I've never understood that, the need for constant attention and praise. It just doesn't
well,
fit in
it's
my
just
paradigm.
A part of the, it could be you're lonely. It could be many things. You're young. You want to know that people like you and respect your opinion. But there's nothing positive out of TikTok. And I will tell you, one day I was on Facebook and it comes through on your feed. And one day I got something on my feed, and when you look at something and you're not sure what you're looking at, it was a porno picture.
Oh, goodness, Joanne.
Yeah, and I kind of didn't. It was so perverted.
Spare us the details. Spare us the details. I
wouldn't give you the details.
All right, I believe you. All right, let me follow up with a question. So you said it's coming from a not good country. Those are your words, not mine. So we should ban all the other apps that are coming from other not good countries.
Well, let's face it. How many countries fit in the same profile as China?
Russia.
I feel like you're being a devil's advocate for TikTok.
That's my job. I'm the host, Joanne.
Well, I get that, but there's no merit to TikTok. That's just the beginning and the end of it.
Well, there is one thing about TikTok that's
What's
got
that?
merit. It's fun.
Yeah, but there are a lot of things that are fun.
I agree.
Yeah, we don't need TikTok.
All right. Joanne, you did a great job not answering my question again, okay? I appreciate it.
I did answer every question.
Joanne, thanks for calling and have a great Saturday, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-969-8600. Let's quickly go to a very patient Rosemary in Imperial Polk County. Rosemary, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Thank you, sir.
How are you, Rosemary?
I am just fine. And you?
I've got about 60 seconds. How can we help?
Well, I do agree with TikTok. I think it should be on.
What station are you listening on in Lakeland, by the way?
I don't even remember what it is. I just happened to stumble on your show as I was driving.
Oh, you're a first-time caller then?
Yes, sir.
Rosemary, we appreciate you. So, so what do you like about TikTok in 20 seconds or less?
TikTok reveals a lot of truth. Example, the true Native Indians are the American Indians, are the African Americans who are the
Rosemary,
who don't know who they are.
Where were you at the top of the show, Rosemary? This was the call I've been waiting for. And we'll do a follow-up piece on it next week, Rosemary, about how TikTok, the reason why a lot of the big media types attack it so much, because it's uncontrollable. It is raw, real information, unadulterated, often from primary.
That they don't want us
There you
to know
go.
about.
Rosemary, I got to wrap up the show, but please call back next week when we do a follow-up on this, okay?
I'll try to.
All righty. Have a great day. All right, the number for next week, we'll find out next week. But the number to reach me at the office, 877-754-6764 to schedule your free consultation, 877-754-6764 with me, Attorney Patrick Smith. And you can also email me throughout the week, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. Everybody stay safe. God bless. And of course, go Gators.
The preceding was sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. W282CI Tampa, W271CY Lakeland,